In this video, I'll be looking at the charts on 4 stocks, 2 in the UK and 2 in the US. Premier African, Ascent Resources, Coca-Cola and Google or Alphabet. Let's have a look at those charts. So starting with Premier African, and from the daily chart you can see we've had this enormous run up over the last couple of days. We did actually reach 110 first thing this morning, but we have come off, but we're still up on the day from the open at 0.86. You can see that the moving averages have all been broken to the upside. The charts probably would have looked negative around about the 19th of June, but this move up has broken this downtrend. It's now confirmed it as a very long flag. When you get a long flag like that, you get a really good move up, and that's what we're seeing. There's no surprise that we're seeing follow through buying today. You can see the upside momentum on the MACD and the RSI. And looking at let's move on to the weekly, and here you can see that there is potential for more upside. The high of the week of 20th of Feb has been broken this morning, and even though we are back below that level now and actually below the 200 week moving average, one would expect, given the momentum that's now in this market, for those levels to be broken quite conclusively. The next resistance is seen at the one above the 200 days, seen at 120, but you can see that there's other resistance points at 180, 184, and then and then as high as previously back in April 2015 we're above 3. So there is still enormous upside potential on this stock. Really I would expect maybe a few days consolidation around this 200 week moving average before we get another break to the upside, but I think inevitably there will be a break to the upside. Looking at the 4 hour, unfortunately my chart only shows the last couple of days, 3 or 4 days, but you can see that the picture, all the moving averages are moving up, and we've got very solid momentum. Looking at the supports or resistances, the 200 week is resistance at 94.81, and then the next resistance at 1.1, with supports at 79 and at 70. Moving on to Ascent Resources, and here I'm looking at this chart because of these moving averages. You can see all the moving averages are moving up, and they're all in a very narrow range. And what we're going to get over the next days and weeks is golden crosses created. So you can see today the 20 is crossing the 50, which is very positive. Tomorrow, the day after, it will then cross the 200, which is very positive, and then maybe next week, the week after, the 50 day will also cross the 200 day as they're all moving up. This is going to give the momentum to give this stock a push up, and really one should expect it to break the resistance that we see from this 13th of April high, which was at about 2.69, and a break really above the 280 level should be expected. You can see from the RSI that there's positive momentum, and the MACD is also indicating positive momentum. Looking onto the weekly, unfortunately we have a bad tick, ignore that if you can. But you can see that we've got this downtrend that's been broken. We've broken above the moving averages. The 20 week will turn round before the 50 catches up, which is good. And as I said, we do expect a move above the 280. Again, we're seeing positive momentum on the RSI. That's at 61.04, and the MACD have just crossed as well in a positive fashion. On with the 4 hour. Again, we've got a limited chart thanks to TradingView. The last candle is down. It's not an engulfing candle though, but it's slightly bearish. That's this morning's trade, but we are coming back to support. In fact, it's allowing these moving averages to catch up, and should be seen as a positive and as a buying opportunity. RSI did confirm with a new high, which is good, and the MACD are still positive. Looking at the support resistances on Ascent, and you can see that resistances from the 13th of April 2.7, then 3.74, with support 20-week 1.8936, and then the 200-day 175.99. Moving across the pond, Coca-Cola came out with figures last night. They were seen as positive, and we have this enormous engulfing bullish candle picture. It would be a big surprise if there wasn't a follow through above the previous highs, just above 46 on this move. Maybe today, but certainly this time next week will be a new high ground. The moving averages gave support. It was the 50-day that gave the support. Yes, the 20-day is back below the 50-day, but given what we expect, the 20-day will soon start to move up, and probably it'll take 5 or 6 days before we get a golden cross on those moving averages, and that's confirmation of the bullish trend, and will give the stock a further move up. The RSI, which had been showing negative momentum, is now solidly in an uptrend and is above 50 at 66.8, and the MACD have just started to flash a buy sign as they diverge above the 0. On the weekly picture, and you can see that we had a good run up through March and April. We've had a consolidation. We're now breaking. Expect this break above the 46, and then we will be testing the resistance at 47 very shortly. RSI is ticking back up again. It should tick to a new high if we get the follow through over the next couple of weeks. MACD is flatlining, but that's a lagging indicator on the weekly anyway. And on the 4 hour chart, you can see we've got supports from the moving averages around here. Little bit of resistance at 45.87 to break, but solidly in an uptrend now. Expect the resistance to be broken given the solid upside momentum. Looking at the support and resistances, 45.87 first resistance, then 46.06. with support and any pullback 44.98 and 44.78. Okay, let's move on to our last stock today, and that's Alphabet, Google. It has got a bit of a problem with the big figure of 1,000. We've now hit it a couple of times and come off. This has allowed the momentum to fall, and you can see that really we're in a kind of long-term shallow downtrend on the RSI. Also, we had a non-confirmation with this recent high in comparison to the previous highs. And we're below the 50-day, although we are getting support at the 20-day. To me, this picture isn't looking attractive at the moment, and further consolidation should be expected. Yes, we are finding the supports at these moving averages, but if they fail, then expect the support at the 920 to be tested, and that would be in the short term, which is a week or two. RSI has dipped back below 50. As I've already mentioned, it's in this shallow downtrend, and the MACD are back together as well. On the weekly, here it doesn't actually look as bad. It can just be a flag on the bull run, but let's wait and see. Any further consolidation would allow the moving averages to catch up, but you can see here as well we've had a non-confirmation on the RSI. That's in a downtrend, although still above 50 at 59. the MACD have just started to flash a warning sign as the short term moves below the upper term. Some would see that as a sell signal as well. And finally, on the 4 hour, you can see again that we're finding support from the 54-hour moving average. The 20 is now rolling over. Again, we've lost upside momentum, and the MACD are again flashing a sell signal. Looking at the support resistances, and got resistance at 970. Then, as I said, this big figure of 1,000, which has caused a problem a couple of times, with support 962 and at 929.6. So that's been TA for traders, having a look at 4 stocks. I hope I didn't rattle through them too quickly that you didn't understand. Premier African, I expect further upside. Ascent Resources looks very interesting with those moving averages. Coca-Cola, we had an engulfing bullish picture, expect further upside. Google seems to have problems with that 1,000, has now lost its upside momentum. Expects some downside pressure in the short term. Many thanks for watching this video. Please do remember these videos are my opinion only and are not meant as an investment recommendation. And please do read the disclaimer. Thank you.